Hey Internet, Eric here. Tonight's My Movie Thoughts is per request of Twitter follower and friend of mine, Unknown Chaos. She requested this a long ass fucking time ago, and I finally gotten to it after finishing the Lost Boys trilogy and just taking some time away from YouTube and what have you. But tonight, I'm going to discuss way before he was known as the man who did the Lord of the Rings movies and The Hobbit, even King Kong. I'm going to talk the Peter Jackson classic, Dead Alive. Now, let me say also overseas, I am based in America. Overseas, it's also known as Brain Dead, but here in America, it's Dead Alive. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I do discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes, what have you, so watch at your own risk. This came out according to, because I got it from Netflix, according to this, says 1992. Now, oh man. Basic plot of this film is, we start out on Skull Island, which I'm assuming is the same Skull Island that King Kong is from. And we're following this archaeologist. It's straight out of Raiders of the Lost Ark. This archaeologist and his helper have captured this rat monkey creature, trying to get it from point A to point B while the natives are chasing them. They get in a jeep, just like Indiana Jones got into the plane, and they try to escape. Well, this rat monkey, it bites the archaeologist. He gets infected. The people who are helping him freak out. They dismember him because of the virus, blah, blah, blah. They still ship the rat monkey, I'm assuming, to New Zealand because Peter Jackson films everything in New Zealand. Eventually, they put the rat monkey in the zoo, okay? And now we're following, I believe his name is Lionel. And Lionel is just this big weenie. Lives with his mom. And he meets this beautiful woman. I think her name is Paquita. She works at the local grocery store. Her mom is, I believe, some kind of gypsy. And says that Paquita will meet the love of her life or something when she sees the sign. Eventually, the sign points to Lionel. They go on a date to the zoo. Mommy is jealous of Lionel's attention going somewhere else. She sneaks around watching them on their date at the zoo. She's bitten by the Sumerian rat monkey. And she starts slowly dying and decomposing. She turns into a zombie, turns more people into zombies, and by the end of the fucking film, it's Lionel and Paquita and his asshole uncle against a whole horde of zombies in one of the messiest horror movies I've ever seen in recent memory. I've seen this movie once before. It was over a decade ago, and I only remember one specific thing, which I'll get to. So basically, I'm going in this with a clean slate, just knowing its notoriety with the gore. Holy fucking shit about this movie, man. It was non-stop. I loved this film. It was so much fun. Holy shit. Okay, we'll get to the characters first. Lionel, they're nothing special, okay? Lionel, and I don't know the actors and actresses' names, so I'm going to call them by their character names. Lionel's nothing special. Whoever plays him is really good at being this little weenie guy. You know, he does what Mama says. He's nervous around Paquita because she's so pretty, and he's probably never had a relationship with the girl. He does a great job. He's got good, he's got good body language. You know, being timid, being nervous around her. You know, walking like that. When he's got to turn into this badass. By the end of the film, you buy it because he's been through such hell in this film. The actor himself as well. Holy shit. But Lionel's very likable for a little dork. It reminded me a lot of, if you've ever seen the remake of Willard, Crispin Glover and his mother, same thing. Paquita, the actress, like I said, she's there just to look pretty because she is very pretty. But she really doesn't do that much either. She's there to be the love interest and then help Lionel in the end defeat the zombies. The mom character, holy shit, what an ice queen. She is like one of the meanest bitches I've seen on, like old hags I've seen on screen in a long time. she's just like I said Willard. She's just like Willard's mom, only more mean, more like in your face, evil and despicable. This actress, she is the character you want to hate, and she does it well. Those are the main characters. There's some side characters, like I said. Eventually, we meet like an asshole uncle who throws a party, and that's how everybody gets infected. He's there to be a scuzzball, and it works. My favorite character, and he's sadly not in it long because he becomes one of the victims, is the priest. Now, eventually, like I said, Lionel's mother gets bitten. She dies, becomes a zombie. Blah blah blah. They have a funeral, her funeral, and the best character is like the preacher, the minister at the funeral, because you could tell he's kind of no nonsense because I think Lionel's late, um, to the funeral because he's busy trying to keep mom dead to the public by shooting her up with horse tranquilizers or something he got from a Nazi veterinarian. Will you just go with it? Um, and long story short, this preacher or whatever is so badass for no reason because eventually you see him in a scene because I guess where he lives is like right next to the graveyard because there's a scene where what is it? She's been buried, and I think Lionel's digging up her grave, and there's a bunch of greasers because for some reason it takes place in the 50s. They're attacking Lionel, like pissing on mom's grave, and she doesn't like that, and shit happens. You find out the priest is a martial artist, and he's doing these spin kicks, and he's defending himself and Lionel against the infected greasers, and he's literally ripping arms off and like kicking heads off, and it's just fucking over the top, but it's so much fun. So he was my favorite character. So characters overall, they're fine. They're not anything special. You're not going to get too attached to a lot of them. Well, goddamn, that fucking preacher is a blast. Um, the gore. The gore is so over the top and soupy and disgusting, and it's great. It's like I said, it's so much fun. Because of it being so over the top, you got. Oh man. Well, first off, you got like the bites. The bites are pretty vicious, blood splattering everywhere. Um, the messiest scene is when Lionel has finally had enough, and he's got his lawnmower, and he's just got it up, and he's got the blades going, and he's mowing down zombies left and right, and you just see the gore and whatever mess that they used to be this gore just flung on the actor, and it looked like oatmeal with like red food coloring, and that poor actor is just drenched in it. You have heads being ripped off. There's a scene where mama, I'll just call her mama attacks her nurse, and she doesn't just like rip her head off, she grabs her from behind and sticks her hands through her cheeks, so you see the skin, you see her fingers, like the imprints of her fingers or the outlines, dust, the outlines of her fingers like in the cheeks as her like head's ripped off, and it's just so over the top. You have chests being ripped out, and zombies' heads exploding, and it's one, like I said, it's one of the messiest horror films I've seen in a long time, and this was from 1992. There's a reason why it's unrated, because holy shit, if this was an R rating, I'm sure it would be only like a half hour long. And the gore effects, it's a lot of it's subtle too. A lot of it's done comedically. Mama hasn't died yet, and she's having a brunch, and this is one of the most disgusting scenes, and like it's disgusting for like that's disgusting for disgusting's sake. She's having a brunch, and her face is starting to fall off. So Lionel, she's still alive. She hasn't died officially yet. She's getting ready for it, and like part of her face just falls off. So Lionel, and that's like a whoa moment. Super glues it and puts it back on, and eventually she just starts falling apart during brunch, and I'm not going to spoil this because this was another... I couldn't tell you how many times watching this film I yelled Jesus Christ or holy shit in this film. And one of the scenes, I'm just going to say, is the custard scene. I am not spoiling that for anybody, but that was fucking gross. And it was done to disgust you and to make you laugh and to make you gasp and to make you say holy shit or Jesus Christ. And that's what I did. Wow. Now, so the gore is great. Lots of, like I said, lots of those type of moments. Now, in the beginning, I mentioned there is one thing that I remembered from my initial watching of this. And, well, eventually, there's another dinner scene. Lionel, for some reason, keeps the zombies in his home, and he's trying to make them live normal lives, like he feeds them. And there's a really disgusting dinner scene where they can't eat because, the nurse, her head is still like attached like this. Her head's basically hanging on by a thread, and she eats, and like this is more of the gore stuff. She eats whatever she's trying to eat, and then like it's just oozing through her neck. Then her head falls off, and Lionel tries to feed it through the neck hole. Well, eventually, her zombie nurse and zombie preacher fall in love. And they start making out on the table, and she kisses him and rips his fucking lips off. Well, eventually they get put in the basement together. And they apparently fuck. And they have a baby. And that baby is probably one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen on screen. The way it's... Google dead alive baby. Well, be careful. Peter Jackson dead alive baby prop or whatever, because you don't want any dead babies showing up in your Google search. But it's one of the most disturbing creatures I've seen in a long, long time. This weird, deformed, greenish yellow, melted Cabbage Patch face with buck teeth, wearing a striped onesie that giggles and runs at you at 100 miles an hour. It's fucking freaky as hell, and I was uncomfortable every time I saw it on screen. It's got a lot of holy shit moments. There's a scene where, like I said, Lionel's trying to have an everyday life, so he takes the baby to the park and shit happens, and then eventually, like, the baby is part of the attack at the end, and wow. That's all I can say. Wow. That's what this film is. It's nothing but a huge 1 hour and 37 minutes of wow. And then, like, another thing about this movie, you can't catch your breath from the beginning to the end. There's maybe one scene where you're able to, and that's when Lionel's mowing the lawn and Paquita, asks him out on a date to the zoo. Since then, everything's bombarding you in your face with gore and holy shit moments, and that's disgusting, and what's going to happen next, and wow. And especially, like, maybe the last 40 minutes when the uncle has invited everybody in town to the house for a house party, and everybody's getting bit, and Lionel's being chased by someone's guts, and it's trying to strangle him, and Paquita's trying to fight zombies in the kitchen, and the zombie baby, and she tries to put it in a blender, and that doesn't work, and then there's explosions, and this and that, and just when you think it's finally done, because Lionel has seemingly chopped the shit up, or chopped every zombie to shit with that lawnmower. Oh no. Mama's back in her final form as a 20-foot tall, I'm assuming, mixture of the Sumatran Rat-Monkey and mother, complete with naked, like, tits and ass and rat face and claws, and holy fucking shit. I did not see this coming. I'm like, I want to know. I want to have sat in this writers, meeting or whatever. I don't know if Peter Jackson helped write it or if it was just a bunch of other people. I wanted to know how the hell they came up with this idea. So after Lionel chops up all these zombies, Mama comes. But instead of her just being a decayed zombie, we're going to make her a 20-foot tall rat fucking creature with tits and things everywhere. Seriously, man. If I want to think of any negative stuff with this film, it's just nitpicking. Why was it in the 1950s? Doesn't matter. It's just thrown in there. Who cares? The ending, after everything is said and done, they kind of just hold hands and walk. Paquita and Lionel, they kind of just hold hands and just walk into the distance. That's basically it. And that, like I said, that's nitpicking. I mean, how else could you end this movie after they've gotten rid of Mama after all that shit? I have no fucking clue. But I'll tell you what, Dead Alive is probably the most fun I've had in a long time. Maybe since, like, I was discussing my Feast movies, the Feast films. Totally over the top. Didn't know what the fuck was going to happen in those. And you know what? Dead Alive is the same. It's in the same realm as the Feast films. Only Feast had the violence and the gore and the action turned up to 11. This shit was turned up to like 25. So I highly, highly recommend Dead Alive. And it's definitely the same Skull Island where they found the Sumatran Rat-Monkey. Because I guess in when Peter Jackson did his version of King Kong, when they're on the boat, you can see, because I IMDb'd this, for trivia, and it says on King Kong, there's a cage that says Sumerian rat monkey, beware of the bite. So that's kind of cool. So it's, I guess, in the same universe as King Kong. So that's pretty neat. Oh, speaking of the rat monkey, ugly ass fucking creature, and it's funny because it's like stop motion, like claymation in a world, with practical effects with the zombies and stuff. I guess, they could have made a prop or an animatronic like a gremlin or something, but no. And Jackson doesn't give a shit. He made this totally noticeable claymation, and wow. It's just, you just go with it. After the first 5 minutes, when you see like the Indiana Jones character and you know where this movie is going, you just sit down and just go with it. Don't do anything while you're watching this film. Like, I was trying to fold laundry while I was watching this. I gave up. After 15, 20 minutes because I'm like, I'm missing so much shit. He's throwing so much at you. You're going to miss something. Like, I missed Peter Jackson's cameo. I guess he's like the mortician's assistant or something, or minister's assistant, because I was busy focusing on Lionel trying to take care of his mom, because I knew Peter Jackson was in. I missed his cameo because there's so much going on. This definitely needs repeated viewings. I would definitely watch this again. So highly, highly, highly recommend Dead Alive, or if you're overseas, Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. Unknown Chaos, thank you so fucking much for requesting this and giving me a reason to rewatch it for the first time in over 10 years. I had a fucking blast. Yeah, I wish there was more bonus features, because I would love to see Jackson explain how he did a lot of this stuff, and hear the actor who played Lionel, just what he had to go through, because there's more in this that I haven't mentioned for poor Lionel. And if I was nitpicking for another negative thing, the whole Lionel afraid of water, B story or whatever. It's like a D story because it's not important, but it's just thrown in there for no reason other than I guess help him stand up to his mom at the end when she's rat monkey lady. I don't know. And again, nitpicking. Highly, highly recommend Dead Alive. Buy it. If you're a horror fan and you have not seen Dead Alive, go out, find this, buy it, sight unseen, watch it. You'll fucking love it. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications or not. Don't care. Comment below. Tell me what you think about Dead Alive. I wish this was Peter Jackson's stuff before Lord of the Rings and he became obsessed with Middle Earth. I want to see him go back to horror movies. I love The Frighteners. Meet the Feebles was fucking weird as shit. I want this Peter Jackson back. So, yeah, but like, subscribe, tell your friends, comment below. Send me suggestions, what have you. Coming up, Strange Land review when I fucking get a copy for it. Children of the Corn review per request. A review of a documentary called The Bridge. Me and my wife have a tag video coming up. And with it being Halloween next month, I'm going to go back into the Halloween series and review the ones I haven't reviewed yet. Which means I'll have to rewatch them. And since I've already watched and reviewed Halloween 5, I don't have to do that piece of shit again. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Once again, Unknown Chaos, thank you so much for making me do this. Cheers, and I kick ass for the Lord.